Good evening. My name is Ashley Moore, and my final project topic will be the evidence-based program for tobacco prevention and control, not on tobacco program. It was a program based in two Appalachian states, West Virginia and North Carolina. There were 258 youth recruited between both states. The youth were either put into the Not on Tobacco program or the 15-minute brief self-help intervention. The Not on Tobacco program consisted of 10 one-hour sessions over the course of 10 weeks. The brief intervention was 15 minutes in which the instructor would go over basic study scripted material and give out brochures, similar to what would be shared in a classroom health class. For both of the programs, a targeted population was teens who were smoking and voluntarily participated in the program. The teens were a mean age of 16 and had been smoking for about 5 years, using about over half a pack of cigarettes a day during the week and about a pack of cigarettes per day on the weekends. The teens were highly addicted, which was determined by the Fagerstrom Tolerance Questionnaire. The teens were targeted in rural populations. Teens in rural areas have an increased rate of tobacco use compared to non-rural areas, showing a disparity in tobacco cessation. Research has shown evidence that teen cessation programs are more effective than little to no intervention. There was a need to discover more about high-risk groups that smoke, including teens who are from less educated, impoverished, and rural areas. The goal of the program was to demonstrate higher quit rates in teen participants that were in the Not on Tobacco program compared to the brief intervention group. Participants were determined to have quit by answering no to the question, "Are you currently smoking?" and had a carbon monoxide reading of less than 9 ppm. Quitting assumed at least 24 hours abstinence. The overall goal is the Not on Tobacco program able to effectively measure the quit rate of teens that quit tobacco use after participating in the program. There were both political and social factors that affected the participants in the state of West Virginia. The factors made a significant change in comparison with North Carolina. In West Virginia, quit rates were very high in both the groups, which can be attributed to the Master Settlement Agreement, which used $5.8 million for tobacco prevention, which made teen tobacco cessation an important factor. There was money allotted to billboards, campaign awareness, and additional education the participants could have received and been exposed to, linking the high quit rates. The diverse perspectives included participants in rural areas. The program could have made the program tailored to teens that live in rural areas and specialized issues that rural teens face and create goals for alternate activities that apply to them. The program addressed public health concerns in the rural community in which teens have significantly higher rate of teenage tobacco use compared to urban participants. The program sought to prove use of tobacco cessation programs, specifically Not on Tobacco program, to help decrease the amount of teens that use tobacco. The quit rates overall were shown higher in teens who were in the Not on Tobacco program compared to the brief intervention group. Infrastructure. The key players in the development of the Not on Tobacco program are the American Lung Association, ALA, in collaboration with West Virginia University, Community Prevention Services, and the schools that implemented the Not program at their institution. The ALA and WVU started the partnership because of the alarmingly growing rates of teenagers addicted to tobacco and the need for successful cessation programs. The community preventative services were used in collaboration with the NOT program for the teenagers who were selected for the intervention-based group. The different organizations were able to work well together to develop a program that helped many teens. The CDC defines stakeholders as people interested in the program. In order to have a good program, the needs of the stakeholders should be well represented. Typically, a program has stakeholders that fall into one of three major groups: people involved in the program operations, those served or affected by the program, and those who will use the evaluation findings. Additionally, stakeholders are essential in program evaluation because of their multifaceted roles. The stakeholders included in the Not on Tobacco program are the school personnel, students involved in the program, personnel at the state level, and public health. The Not on Tobacco program costs were funded by state tobacco initiatives, state and local school systems, public research grants, and other funding sources. Generally, in regard to ethics of policies for the prevention of tobacco disease, there are two routes to achieve abstinence of tobacco use, which is the goal. There are prevention of initiation and cessation of smoking. According to Epidemiological Journal, cessation is difficult and sometimes impossible for people. There are policies that are put into place to put pressure on smokers and consequently restrict some of smokers' rights, such as a smoke-free workplace, restaurants, and government buildings. There are also increased taxation. The program is not invoking itself on the rights of participants. Instead, participants who enter are volunteering to participate and willing to be smoke-free. There are some opponents to the Not on Tobacco program, which would be the people and companies that make a profit from the continued use of tobacco products in the general population. In regard to health and its effect on the need for the Not on Tobacco program, people that have mental illnesses or substance abuse have higher rates of smoking. There are 41% of people with mental illness in the next month that were current smokers. There were only 22% of people with mental illness who do not smoke. Smoking has been linked to several diagnosed disorders, including schizophrenia, major depression, bipolar disorder, anxiety disorder, panic attacks, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD, post-traumatic stress syndrome disorder, PTSD, alcohol abuse, and illicit drug use. Smokers who are younger are even more likely to develop mental disorders due to their tobacco use. Economically, everyone is affected long term because the unhealthy state of individuals creates a high cost to the country because people who smoke are more likely to develop diseases like cancer, cardiovascular disease, metabolic disease, respiratory diseases, and perinatal conditions. The program was created to address the previously mentioned issues because they are huge problems. The program could help decrease some of those listed problems if teenagers could maintain abstinence from tobacco. Delivery and conclusion. In order to have the community engaged and supporting of the Not on Tobacco program, the members of the community must be aware of the program. The easiest The easiest, largest way to target the audience is to do a targeted social media campaign in which people in a targeted area with a certain age will see the ad describing the program and all the benefits for participants. Materials like brochures can be circulated in the communities and shared with prominent centers in the area. It would be very beneficial to have informational sessions to interact with community members and answer any questions members may have. Using social media as a means of marketing is very new, yet beneficial to the future of public health. Everything needed should be provided, and public health professionals who take advantage of the social media marketing tool should be knowledgeable and trained. Another target is the physicians in and around the area to educate them about the program, so they are knowledgeable and can refer patients to the program. When there is a professional medical support of an evidence-based program, it is always a beneficial support. The Not on Tobacco program was so successful because the program was able to successfully decrease smoking and increase cessation in teenagers. The program was put together and distributed to schools and community organizations successfully. The program was able to continue in multiple settings. The National Registry of Effective Programs recognized the Not on Tobacco program as effective. The short-term effects of the Not on Tobacco program show favorable results of decreased smoking and cessation at follow-up. In an article, Flay stated, when examining long-term effects, there are 3 important points to consider: the presence of interactive social influence or social skills, inclusion of 15 or more sessions at least through the 9th grade, and the production of significant short-term effects. In a critical review of smoking prevention programs, Flay wrote how effects decrease over time if interventions are stopped or withdrawn. The Not on Tobacco program is considered over upon completion of the program. The program concluded is suddenly stopped, only requiring follow-up that consists of questions. The Not on Tobacco program could be even more successful if it continued for a longer period of time to truly evaluate and sustain tobacco cessation. Smoking has so many effects on comorbidities like cancer, cardiovascular disease, metabolic disease, respiratory diseases, mental illness, and perinatal conditions. There is a great need for tobacco cessation to be the new norm, and implementation of a program like Not on Tobacco would be essential. Overall, the program is headed in the right direction and has been proven effective and has taken great strides in the fight against the use of tobacco, particularly in young people. Here are my references. And thank you for your time.